Hello, everyone. Today is day 4 of our 21 days to gratitude game, prosperity coaching, 21 days to a healthier, wealthier, more beautiful you. Today is day 4, and the mantra is forgiveness. Not easy to do, but essential. Why? I love this saying, and it's based off of a Buddhist precept. This is a saying that Carrie Fisher often said. Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So resentment has a lot to do with not forgiving somebody. So how do we release that burden that we carry? And honestly, forgiveness is the gift that we give ourselves, releasing the burden of judging that person and having resentment and drinking that poison. Now, there may be someone that bang zip comes to the top of your mind when you think about resentment. Who is that person? Who are those people? What is that circumstance? That's maybe sometimes it's a circumstance. It's not a person. I certainly have had that experience in my life. I came from a very, very modest means. And, I often felt that a lot of my circumstances were a part of a system that was deeply troubled. And I'm not saying that it isn't. What I am saying is waiting for the system to change can be very frustrating. And that is part of leading your own truth towards your own prosperity and abundance requires. I'm not saying that there's not a benefit to anger, because there is. Anger can be the fuel that is necessary to get you out of a very toxic situation. So if the resentment that you have and that lack of forgiveness that you feel is towards a situation that you are involved in that is harmful to you, then we have to get you out of that situation. That's not the time for forgiveness. That's the time for changing your reality and getting you safe. So I am not saying stay in an unsafe or an unhealthy situation and learn how to forgive. What I'm saying, forgiveness is about an action that happened. It's carrying around a past. It's not something that's still happening to you that we need to fix. And by the way, in today's world of inflation, a potential recession on the horizon, there's a lot that we need to fix for us personally so that we don't get swallowed up in the economic storm that might be on the horizon. So we are going to look for real solutions to underpin that are necessary to underpinning this mind shift that we're having. So I want to be very clear that we're not saying don't act and that you don't need to change things. What we're saying is let go of the past, let go of resentment, and lean into forgiveness, because a lot of times there are things that we're well beyond that we are still reliving because we want to know who was right and who was wrong. Again, remember that saying, so much wisdom in it, Terry Lewis. You can have disagreements with people. People can hurt us and harm us, and we can still forgive them for us. That doesn't mean that we jump right back in and let them do it again, but we can protect ourselves without carrying the additional burden of drinking poison that's going to kill us and not them. Keep breathing, keep leaning into love. What would love do? Keep being grateful. And today, lean into forgiveness. Now, there's one other thing about forgiveness. If you're having difficulty, and it is a person, it's really helpful to send that person a gift anonymously, maybe even once a week. And it could be as much as little as even $11 or an $11 gift. There was someone I was having trouble forgiving a number of years ago. And I knew that he really liked dark chocolate. And so I would send him a couple of dark chocolate bars. I think it's because, again, you're taking your little, that lizard part of your brain that wants to do things that are unhealthy for you, and you're distracting it by doing something actually good. And then again, it becomes who you are and you forget. Doesn't mean that you forget and you put yourself in the same position. It means that you no longer carry the weight of judging. And along the way, you might even find a little bit of compassion, empathy, and awareness that you didn't know you had. The Dalai Lama often said, and he certainly has had a lot of challenging circumstances, losing his home, invasion of Tibet, ongoing character assassination by, certain governments. And he always says the enemy is a very good teacher. And he even says that he has learned a lot of things that he would not have learned without the troubles that he's had. He still, of course, wants Tibet to be, occupied by the Tibetan people and the Tibetan language and the Tibetan culture to be honored and to flourish. It's not saying that he doesn't want that. It is just saying that he's not going to lean into resentment, anger, and war. He is very much a believer of compassion. So compassion doesn't really hold on to resentment. So again, what this series is doing is it's trying to clean out the old crap that keeps us from attracting prosperity and abundance. This week, this entire week of leaning into these very basic spiritual mantras is helping us to jettison some of the thoughts that are keeping us stuck in the mud. I will see you tomorrow. Again, this is Natalie Pace, nataliepace.com, info@nataliepace.com if you'd like to email us. Social media links are all over my website. We'd love to see you at a retreat. I've got lots of books that I hope you'll download. We price them as low as we possibly can on Amazon, especially the ebooks. The print editions are slightly more. It's a little more trouble, and it's definitely a lot more paper that we're trying to save. I'll see you tomorrow.